The people's voice, the people's rights, the people's choice, the people's life.
We're going, yeah?
Yep.
Sweet, right. Alright, my name's Josh. If you take a quick look around, right? This is how communities are supposed to work. We've had a week of this where people can come out and they're allowed to drink on the street. They're allowed to indulge in some tasty fine music that's all about. You see people sat all over the place. And they're all enjoying each other's company. And look out, not a single plume of smoke in the sky, not a single shop been looted right now. Go several miles down towards London, completely different story. Right now I do understand. This Mark Duggan, I think his name was, got shot in Hackney. I get that. I understand why a certain group of people related to that guy, that incident, I understand why they got up off their asses and had a bit of a pop with the police. I get that. But this whole primitive jump on the bandwagon mob mentality that has hit not only London but Bristol, Birmingham and Liverpool and places like Chigwell, Ilford, Romford, Manchester. Right? I don't understand this. This is hooliganism at its finest, right? And I don't mean finest in a good way at all. I'm only 26 years old, just turned 26 Tuesday, 9th of August this year, right? I've been at my family's home in Ongar, it's the middle of the countryside in Essex. My family have all been away in France. They came back the day before my birthday. And I didn't even know about all these riots, and we switched on the BBC News and boom, there it is. Shops being burnt all over Croydon and Romford and all that. And you know, I am not that far away from age-wise like these people that are doing it. Now, I've got plenty to be pissed off about with the government, you know, tuition fees. One of the biggest ones. I can understand why there was the protests in London about the tuition fees. That makes sense. But this whole burning of shops and everything, you get a lot of these people that are doing this. I notice like there's members of the BNP getting involved. These are some people that pride themselves on being so fucking patriotic. They're ridiculously patriotic. Get the immigrants out of the country, England for English, yeah? And then they go and do stuff by destroying their own communities. And what they don't seem to realise is that they're shitting on their own doorstep. They are destroying their own communities. And for me, it's one of the most unpatriotic things you can do. Now, I love who I am. I like being English. I don't mind the country. I'm not particularly overly patriotic about this country, but I like how it is. Not too keen on the coalition government. I think they've screwed us over in big ways. I lost my job last year because of budget cuts, but I don't spit my dummy out about it too much. That's the way of the world. But this mob mentality of rioting and stealing what they can just because other people are doing it, I think it's ridiculous, and it gives everybody else, especially the younger generation, it gives us all a bad name. I mean, it's no wonder that we can't walk into a shopping centre with a hood up or wearing a hoodie without causing suspicion. It was only yesterday that I travelled back from Essex and I got to Liverpool Street and I got down onto the Circle Line underground part of Liverpool Street, and I've just come back from my family's. I've got loads of new clothes. I got myself an Xbox Connect for my birthday. It's all brand new stuff, and I'm standing there and I've got a massive red sports bag brimming with brand new clothes. I've got an open top bag for life brimming with new clothes and an Xbox Connect, sorry. And there's all these guys in suits who are coming back from work, and I'm getting the filthiest looks from them. And I've done nothing wrong, yet I still feel guilty. And I felt like they must think that I'm one of this huge mob that's going around the country, destroying everything and stealing stuff. I can't blame them. I understand I might look like that, and this tumultuous time that we live in, whatever. I get why people are being so scared, but it's ridiculous. It's young people, a lot of them are saying that the only reason we're doing this is because we're trying to fight against the government for our rights. Well, if you're going to go and do that and you want older generations to respect you more, especially the police and the government, who are a generation or two older than most of us lot, what's the point in going out and doing all this crap? Burning stuff, smashing stuff, beating people up, smashing cop cars. This is so counterintuitive and counterproductive. It makes me so ashamed.
What do you feel, what action do you feel they should have taken?
Peaceful protests. Peaceful protests. I know they don't work all the time, but the more voices you have saying the same thing over and over again, they can't be ignored. You just can't ignore that. I mean, fair enough, I know the student fees and everything hasn't come down since the mass protests in London several months ago, but And I know there were, in the midst of all that, I know there were some less than peaceful parts of that protest, but that's, you know, one hand of a minority versus a majority of people that were doing, I believe, a good thing. But, you know, fair enough that guy got shot. Fair enough that his friends and his family argued and they came to blows to the police. I can kind of get maybe a little bit of criminal damage to get their point across. I don't condone it, but I understand why they did it. But for everybody else to jump on that bandwagon purely because what? The excuse they're giving, as I said, is, oh, we're unhappy with our government, we're so hard done by. But this is, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. These youth of today are just doing everything in their power to give us a worse name. It's no wonder that so many people just don't trust us anymore.
So if, just say, hypothetically, the youths of today did take a better course of action, for example, peaceful protests in the right places, what do you feel would need to be changed within this country?
Well, I think first and foremost, governments need to do what governments should do, and they should listen a little bit more and be a lot more open-minded. There's a great quote that says, we should not fear our governments, but the government should fear us, because at the end of the day, how many people make up a government compared to how many people live within a country? I mean, there's 60 million people at least that live in the United Kingdom. We're talking less than 1% of them actually run the country, government-wise. And if they really do go off and wind the country up, then it's no wonder that you get things like this happen. But the reason they've done this is for the wrong reasons. I think if more people took a peaceful stand and did this on a regular basis rather than this rioting and looting and stuff, I think it would stand the youth of today in a much better position that if this goes on and on and on, and it's peaceful, that eventually we will be looked on in the right light that I think the majority of the youth in this country wish to be looked on. I mean, I've been, you know, I think on the third night of the London riots alone, I was on Facebook and I'm talking to lots of friends. I've got friends all over the country and I've got friends who live in other countries, and I've been talking to them all. And, you know, a lot of them have got beef, a lot of them have got issues with how the government is running the country at the moment. And it's not just us, it is the older generations as well that have got these same beefs. But yeah, everybody seems to be going about it the wrong way at the moment, and it makes the rest of us that really want to get our voice across in the proper way, it's almost like we're null and void all of a sudden because of the actions of a handful of people. And it's disgraceful and it's disgusting, and it makes me ashamed to say I'm part of that.
Does it also make you ashamed that the people running the country are just as bad criminally as the people?
Totally.
Like, for example, money laundering.
You hit it spot on, mate. Nail on the head there. I mean, it was only like a couple of years ago, over the last couple of years, that we've had the whole expenses scandal. I was annoyed at the fact that more people didn't get up and protest about that, because at the end of the day, the money that the MPs, the very people that are supposed to be protecting our right, our way of life, are supposed to be telling us how everything's supposed to be done, effectively stealing from their own people that they're running, because the money that they're taking is taxpayers' money. I mean, there's no two ways about that. They've gone and done that, and the rest of the nation, yes, we've had a beef about it, we've argued and we've complained, and nothing's been done about that. But as soon as the shoe's on the other foot, and it's the youth of today that's, you know, all right, we're not doing it in the same way they did, they're doing it below board, you know, it's all paperwork. That's how they've worked their way around stealing from the country. The only difference with what people are doing at the moment is really they're stealing physically in front of people on live national television. Now, it's no worse than what happens with the MPs, it really isn't, but at the same time, the only well, it is worse because it makes a demographic group of people look worse. I mean, MPs always look bad. They always look bad, they always have done and they always will do to the end of time. But the youth of today, we are the same people that in a generation or two generations' time will be running this country. And if this is the example that we're setting, or that a group of people are setting for this generation, then Jesus Christ, excuse my language, we're going to be fucked when it comes around to be our turn to show the rest, you know, the next generation of people how things should be done. I mean, I live my life by several moral codes, and my biggest code is that you do unto others as you would yourself, you know. I won't go and punch someone in the face unless I'm willing to be punched in the face myself. I suppose it's the easiest analogy I can make of that. I'm not going to go and steal from somebody because I don't want somebody stealing from me. People that run this country have stolen from us. Two wrongs don't make a right. Stealing from everybody else doesn't make it right. It is disgusting, it's disgraceful. I can't get my head around it, I really can't.